My name is Dan Linsman, developer at Blueshoon. Today I want to talk about a concept in WordPress which can be confusing even to experienced WordPress users at times: taxonomies. Say we're an amateur cook and we want to make a website that showcases our scrumptious recipes. Isn't scrumptious a great word? We already have a WordPress theme picked out and installed, and we want to add these recipes to our site, as well as generic blog posts and interviews. At first, these posts are easy for the user to find when we just have 10 or so, but as we add more over time, we might have hundreds, maybe thousands of recipes, so we'll need a better way to organize our content for our readers so they can find the kind of recipe they want without having to scroll endlessly through pages, as well as for us, so we can easily review what we've posted in the administrative section of the site and make edits to them. By utilizing taxonomies in WordPress, we can better organize the content on our site for our users and ourselves. Fresh out of the box, WordPress has two built-in taxonomies: categories and tags. What are they, and what's the difference? Categories and tags are two ways of organizing your posts on your WordPress site. The difference between categories and tags is that categories are hierarchical and tags are not. Another way of saying this is that categories can have parent, child, grandchild, grand-grandchild, etc. relationships, and tags cannot. Every basic post in WordPress gets assigned a category, which includes an uncategorized category by default, and optionally can be assigned tags. You can assign as many categories or tags as you want to your posts to help organize them in a way that's best for your content. Let's take a look at an example using the food blog site we talked about earlier. Who doesn't want to talk about food? So let's get to the drawing board. We're going to have recipes. We might also write blog posts and also feature interviews with other chefs. Recipes, blog, interviews. That should be good for our demonstration. Recipes is a very broad term, and we can have many subterms. People often like to think about if a recipe is right for breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, or snack. Since these are types of recipes and sit under recipes, these sound like categories. We may have different kinds of blog posts too, such as tips, interviews, or techniques. Let's make those children of the generic blog category. That should be enough for this example. There's other ways we might want to identify our posts that don't fit in a hierarchy. For recipes, they might be inspired by different cuisines: Indian, Thai, Italian, American, Malaysian, German, Martian, you name it. There could be Italian desserts, Thai desserts, German dinners, Malaysian breakfasts, as well as vegetarian snacks, non-vegetarian snacks, etc. Some people can't handle spicy food so well, so how about spicy and non-spicy? These are all terms that would be difficult and taxing to choose as categories in a child-parent relationship. It just wouldn't make sense to use categories for these. This is what tags are for. Just like categories, you can assign multiple tags to a post. However, the difference is tags are not hierarchical, so you're free from choosing a term with a parent term that doesn't fit. All right, so let's look at our example here. I already set up an example site called My Yummy Food Site. Don't be rude, eat good food. We already have a bunch of recipes, a couple interviews, so we have the content loaded in. Let's log in and see what this looks like on the back end. We'll go to posts. All right, here's all of our content here. All of these except one are uncategorized, and you can see that there's no tags. So you have your two built-in taxonomies of WordPress here. Let's click in on the first one, lox with fried egg and toast. We'll go to edit. All right, and we'll see our post here. Go off to the right. We'll come down here and we'll see that there's the default category of uncategorized, which is not, it is a real category, but it's not. It's just telling you that it's uncategorized, essentially. So let's figure out which category this belongs to. It will be a recipe, so we'll click on recipe. We can uncheck uncategorized. And so far we already have breakfast and snack in there. And this is a breakfast thing, so let's choose breakfast. And now we have our tags here, and so We can get creative with the tags. We don't want to add too many, but since there's salmon in it, we can type in fish. We can also throw in eggs in there since eggs are a standard breakfast dish that might have multiple recipes for us. We'll do eggs. And is there anything else? We can do bread as well. All right, I think that should do it for this one. So we added our categories. Here you have the parent category of recipe and the subcategory of breakfast. And now we just click on update, post updated. Now we can click down here and view post. All right. So in this theme, which is the 2021 theme, which is the newest theme by WordPress, it's free to everybody and uses their newest features. You can scroll down here, and now we see categorized as breakfast, recipe, and bread, eggs, fish. All right, so we just categorized our first post and added tags to it. That's great. Let's go back and just do a couple more for example. Posts. All right, so we have Valencian paella. Let's click on edit. Come over here, recipe, take away the uncategorized. All right, so this is neither a breakfast or a snack. Paella is kind of a dinner recipe, so let's add a new category. Category name, dinner. And we'll choose the parent category of recipe. Add new category. All right, and I already chose dinner since we just added that and assumed that's what we wanted to assign it to. So now we have a dinner recipe too, and we have some tags down here. So this particular one, we will have chicken in it. It'll also be a rice dish, so we can add rice. And trying to think of something else here. We could put a lot of things in here, but if we had too much stuff, then it isn't really organizing it. We will throw in lemon, just because this will have a lemony flavor to it. So that should be good for that. And we'll click update. We can visit the link. Valencian paella, great. All right, and categorizes dinner, recipe. And now if you look down here, if you look in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see dinner is a subcategory of recipe. In the very lower left, you'll see category recipe dinner. So you can see that parent-child relationship of the categories. All right, now let's just try clicking on recipe and see what happens here. Recipe, category recipe. So this is a category archive page. So we can see that we already have our lox with fried egg and toast here, and Valencian paella. So those are the two ones we've categorized under recipes so far. So that's great. Now if we click on breakfast, we'll just see that we have the one recipe, the lox with fried egg and toast, categorized as breakfast. All right, now let's just do one more here. Go to posts. Now, let's do one that is not a recipe. Let's do one of the interviews that we wanted to do. So a chat with the owner of a Vietnamese cafe. Let's click on edit. All right, we have a post here with some amazing lorem ipsum. It's beautiful. All right, categories. So it's not going to be uncategorized anymore because we're awesome. We're going to click on interview. And we're just going to leave it at interview. That's all we need for this. We don't need any subcategories. Later down the line, we might decide to do that, but for now, interview is great. And for tags, we could tag this with, let's say, Vietnamese, because someone might want to search for interviews in Vietnam, perhaps. All right, and we'll go up here and click update. And just to check it out, we can click on the post again. Categorized as interview, tagged Vietnamese. Wonderful. So one way people can search for these recipes and interviews on your site, if they go to the home page, in this example, they can go down to the very bottom. And you can see your categories down here. Breakfast, dinner, interview, recipe, and then your uncategorized categories. And then under tags, we see there's one post for bread, one post for chicken, one for eggs. So all these will have one post. If there's a tag that doesn't have any posts, it just won't show here. I just want to show you one more way you can look at your categories and tags. So you go to Posts, Categories. Now we can see all of our categories in the list here. And you can see the parent-child relationships we have with category or with recipe and breakfast, dinner, snack. And if we wanted to, we could even create a category underneath breakfast just to show you. So how about sweet? That doesn't really fit in our system here, but just as an example, I will show you this. Slug, sweet. All right, so we'll choose breakfast. Add new category. So now you see here that sweet has a parent of breakfast and then a grandparent of recipe. And we have 0 posts for it. And now we can do this similar thing with tags, and we can see all the tags we have. And again, it'll show us off to the right how many tags, how many posts we have for each tag. So it's pretty simple. These are the 2 built-in taxonomies of WordPress. Now, you can add other taxonomies that are your own, but that is past the scope of this tutorial. So I hope this was helpful. And with some thoughtful planning of your taxonomies, you can set up the content on your website in a logical and organized manner and save yourself and, most importantly, your users a lot of time by finding the information they need quickly.